Hey there, my name is Alex. I'm the Silver Mont, and this is a quick starter guide for the Duchess in Elden Ring Nightreign. What are her strengths? Nothing. What are her weaknesses? Everything. Okay, I kid, but I do think the Duchess is probably the weakest Nightfarer in Nightreign. That doesn't mean she's garbage, or she can't beat bosses, or whatever. It just means she's weaker than the others, in my opinion. Why? Well, the Duchess is a Spellblade character, Int Dex. Int is her highest stat, by 1 point, but still. Her playstyle encourages using magic heavily, so you might say that her strengths are her second highest int in the game, 42 at max level, and her high FP, just 20 behind the Revenant. These, along with her good dodges. As for her weaknesses, well, her stats just kinda suck. If we're talking about the important stats, she's at 41 dex, 42 int. For an offensive-based character, these are naff. The Guardian is the only other character who has such lackluster sort of damage stats, and that's because his are all pumped into his health and stamina instead. Duchess, incidentally, has the least stamina in the game, but here's the thing. She's a caster who starts with no spells, not even on her dagger. Her dagger just has a weapon buff on it. And, well, she starts with a dagger, which is the weakest weapon type in the game. Historically, they've only really been used for backstabs. But her critical modifiers don't exactly make up for this, and it's not like you can, critical bosses until you knock them down. In short, the Duchess, she's not bad, but she's not nearly good enough. Executor is better at applying statuses. Revenant and Recluse are better at casting, Wilder's better at melee, everyone's better at reviving. So in short, she's just kinda lackluster and needs a bit of help. Still, if you want to play her, that's absolutely fine, you can do, so let's have a look at her skills. Duchess's passive is Magnificent Poise. No, not poise in the sense of hyper armor. She can dodge twice in a row and has reduced stamina costs, which, well, helps a bit given that she has the least stamina out of every character. The double dodging is fine, in theory. In practice, I never really have gone, wow, I'm so glad I have that, it saved me. Especially because rolling in this game is just really strong in general. And in the other corner, we have Iron Eye laughing with his superior ability, which is a dodge that has like 2 million iframes, and also puts an amazing debuff on enemies. So, yeah, and it costs no stamina. Then we have her character skill, Restage. Based on the description, this ability is very confusing, but essentially, when you press Restage, it will replay, or restage, reprise the last few moments. Let's say you backstab an enemy, you hit Restage, the enemy will get backstabbed again. They won't suffer the stagger or animation lock, only the damage. And not the full damage either, around, I think, 50%. The duration is 3 seconds, so effectively, anything you did in the last 3 seconds to the boss will be done again in terms of damage. This includes your team. The skill is best used whenever the boss or enemy takes a big chunk of damage, such as after a critical, or applying a status ailment, as it doesn't have to be your damage. So if Iron Eye does his ult on the boss, or if Wilder does his ult, or if the Raider does a critical, you can restage that as well. If you are using it for your own stuff, then doing it after triggering a status or a backstab or a critical, whatever, is probably the best. That, or hitting the enemy with a powerful spell. Let's say you use, Cannon of Heimer, you hit the boss, then you restage and it will do 50% of that damage, again, for no extra FP cost, which is, the best part there. Frankly, most of your damage on Duchess probably comes from spells, ideally. Her arcane isn't awful, but it's going to be easier to chunk enemies with spells than flailing at them with her puny daggers, because the daggers just don't do very good damage, frankly. Then we have the Duchess's ultimate art, Finale. I'm sorry, but this ultimate art is the worst in the game, and I would say it is just kind of bad in general. Not just the weakest, but downright bad. Something needs to be done to improve it. It makes her and the team go invisible. This will break aggro and cause the enemies to ignore you and not know where you went, allowing you to get into a better position and get some free hits on the enemies. So you can use it to do a backstab on smaller enemies, maybe sneak past some enemies if you'd ever need to do that. But the best way to use this ability, this ultimate, in my opinion, is to do a slow spell on an enemy. Make yourself invisible and then hit the enemy with some spells whilst you are safe. Or reviving allies. But frankly, is just kind of bad. Every other ult is better at reviving the team, because they also give boosts or do damage. Finale needs something, whether it gives your team a damage boost, a stamina boost, just anything, you know? This might all sound very harsh, and I'd like to remind you that the Duchess can do the whole game. There's nothing that she can't do, it's just that it's a bit harder with her because she is weaker than the other characters. She's a little bit undertuned. But what about her suggested loadout? A lot of people swear by the relic that triggers reprise after attack chain. I don't think it's worth it, really. It's definitely a damage boost. It's better than not having it. That restage is even weaker than the normal version though, maybe like 30%, and requires you to get a full chain. It's added damage, and added damage is good, but it's not going to make her super powerful. Put it on if you have space for it, but I would say the better relics to prioritize are ones that give you FP back on successive hits, such as the Dark Knight of the Wise. Anything that lets you start with Frost on your dagger, or replaces the useless starting art with Chilling Mist, is a good bet. No daggers do good damage, but if you can use them to apply status ailments, that helps. If you want to do actual significant damage, you need to find staves with decent spells on. And that's where the FP regen comes in. You use your spells, and then you use the dagger to get your FP back, and maybe do status ailments, because she has no built-in FP restoration. But daggers are really fast, and makes it very easy to recover FP that way, and they are good for applying statuses. Ranker Call, Stars of Ruin, Cannon of Heimer, whatever. If you want to know more about decent magics, check out the Recluse video, because I went more in depth on it there. In short though, for human-sized enemies you can use the dagger to critical them, but for larger ones focus on magic to do damage, your dagger to restore FP and status ailments. In my opinion, this is the best way to make the most out of her kit. In matches, look for daggers with ailments or good arts, like the Black Knife. You can also look for other dex-based weapons because, again, she is a dex character, 41 dex. Highlights maybe like Rivers of Blood, Eleonora's Pole Blade, things like that. But look for strong magic on staves, and any passives that increase your FP. Maybe health too, and things that are on successive hits, like, successive hits restore FP, that can be good for her. Given how these things usually work on percentages, you would need to get quite a few health ones to make her health not suck, because she has such little starting health. She's just a very squishy character, so keep that in mind. And just remember that despite how she might appear, she's not really a sneaky stab rogue character. She's a caster, she's a spellblade who lost her spells, she lost her stick, and you need to find it again. As just flailing with the dagger is very ineffectual, and I would wager even the Guardian probably outdamages that, whilst also bringing more to the team in terms of utility. But if you really want to melee, then you need to grab a stronger dex weapon than a dagger, I would argue. At any rate, thanks so much for watching. If you have any questions or tips in regards to the Duchess, do leave them down below. She's one character who I definitely needs a buff. I hear in the network test she was kind of overpowered, so maybe they hit her too hard with the correction stick. Was her restage doing like 100% damage back then? I don't know. Either way, thanks again, see you soon. That's it for Nightfarer guides, but I have hundreds of other videos on the channel, so now I demand you go and watch them. All of them.